In this video, I'll be going through the Music Theory Sample Paper 2020 for Grade 4. The first section of this paper is the rhythm section. So let's do question 1.1 together. So question 1.1 consists of three questions where you're asked to circle the correct time signature for each of these bars. So let's start off with A. Okay, so for this is a crotchet. This is equivalent to a crotchet. Okay, these three semiquavers with a triplet sign above it is also equals to a crotchet. All right. Then a dotted crotchet plus a quaver is equals to a minimum beat, which is equivalent to two crotchets. So total there are 1, 2, 3, 4 crotchet beats in the bar. So therefore it is a 4/4 time, or this symbol here. Next, let's move on to B. So when I see this, it's very likely that it is grouped in trees, okay? And if you recall seeing something like this or this, okay, they are basically equal to 3 quaver beats, right? But now, if I were to add an additional line across these, okay, so something like this here. So whenever you add another tail, okay, or another line to the beam notes, okay, you are decreasing the note value, okay, or you're halving the note value. So this, instead of being 3 quaver beats like this, now it becomes 3 semiquaver beats. Okay, so by looking at this, I know that this is equals to 3 semiquaver beats. Okay, then this 2 semiquavers is equals to 1 semiquaver. Okay, this is another semiquaver here. So in total, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 semiquaver beats in a bar. So 6 semiquaver beats in a bar. Okay, so what does it mean? So in other words, 6 should be on top, and you should have 16 at the bottom. Okay, so it is equals to this. Now, some of you may be asking, so why is it not 3/8 time? Because 6 semiquaver beats is equals to 3 quaver beats, right? Well, this has something to do with the grouping. So you notice that the notes are grouped 3 semiquavers by 3 semiquavers. Okay, so therefore in 16 time, you're going to group then 3 semiquavers by 3 semiquavers. But in 3/8 time, you will group then 3 quaver beats by 3 quaver beats. So if it is 3/8 time, then all these notes should be beamed together. But because we are grouping the notes 3 semiquavers by 3 semiquavers, so therefore the time signature here is 6/16. All right. Next, moving on to the next one. Okay, so for this, I will count it in terms of crotchet beats. Okay, there's a reason for this, because if I look at this, okay, here, okay, I notice that this is a very long note, right? It's 2 minim. So it might be easier for me to count it in terms of crotchet beats. Okay, so let's do it. So a dotted crotchet plus a quaver is equals to 2 crotchet beats. This is equals to 2 crotchet beats. Okay, this is a minim, so a minim is equals to 2 crotchet beats, and another 1 crotchet and another 1 crotchet. Okay, and if you have to take a look, right, the grouping of the notes seems to be grouped minim beats by minim beat. So this is the first minim beat, second minim beat, and this is the third minim beat. So therefore, the time signature here is 3/2. Okay, so if you have to take a look at this, right, this is 3/2 time. So 3/2 time means 3 minim beats in a bar. Okay, and 3 minim, you could say that it is equals to 6 crotchets. So you might be wondering, why is it that it is not 6/4 time? So very similar to part B, this has something to do with the grouping. Okay, so if you have a 3/2 time, you will group them minim beat by minim beats, right? So the first minimum beats, the second minimum beats, and the third minimum beats, you'll group them together. Okay, for 3-2 time. But if it is 6-4 time, you will group 3 crochet beads by 3 crochet beads. So if it is 6-4 time, then if you look at this, this is okay, so let me draw this out. If it is 6-4 time, this is already 2 crochet beads. So this note here, you actually need to write it as a tie note so that this 3 can be in one group and the rest of the 3 crochet beads are in another group. But because this note here is a minimum, it is not split into 2 crochets and a tie, we know that it is not 6-4 time. Alright? So therefore the answer for this question here is 3-2 time because of the grouping. Next, let's move on to question 1.2. So in question 1.2, you are given a bar in simple time and you are asked to convert it into compound time. So to convert simple time into compound time, what you need to do is to multiply the number on top by 3 and multiply this number below by 2. So you know that the correct time signature is 9-8. Okay, so therefore we will eliminate this because it is the wrong time signature. Okay, so we are left with this 2. So now, for simple time, you want to convert it into compound time. That means you need to change all the crochets into a dotted crochet. Okay, so in other words, right, if you have a triplet, you will remove the triplet sign. Okay, so if you have 2 notes, you 2 quavers, you will put a duplet sign. Okay, and so on. Okay, so now let's take a look at this. So this crochet will become a dotted crochet. So both are dotted crochet, so they are correct. Triplet sign will be removed, so this is correct. This is wrong. This 2 quavers, you will put a duplet sign, so this is correct. So the answer is this. All right. Okay, now let's move on to 1.3. So complete the following 2 sentences by adding a number to each. So 9-16, in 9-16, there are how many dotted quiver beads in a bar? So let's look at 9-16. So if you have a 16 at the bottom, it means that it is semi-quiver beads that you're talking about. And there are 9 of these semi-quiver beads in a bar. So let me draw out 9 semi-quiver beads and I'll draw them 3 by 3 because that is how you group 9-16. Okay, so now that I have drawn out 9 semi-quavers, next I need to find out how many dotted quiver beads there are. So 1 dotted quiver is equals to 3 semi-quavers, right? So therefore I know this is equals to a dotted quiver. Okay, so 3 semi-quavers is equals to a dotted quiver. So now 9 of them will be equals to 3 dotted quavers. So in 9-16 time, there are 3 dotted quiver beads in a bar. Okay. Next, let's look at 1.4. So you're asked to tick one box to show which bar is grouped correctly. So you have 6-8 times. So for 6-8 times, you will group them 3 quiver beads by 3 quiver beads. Okay. So let's take a look at this. So this is 3 quiver beads. Okay, so correct. Then this is 1 quiver, 2 quiver, 3 quiver, and I beam them together. So this is correct. Now let's check to make sure that these are wrong. So this is 2 quiver beads, and this is the 3rd quiver bead. So they should be joined together. Okay, not split. Okay. Then this 1, 2, 3 quiver beads should be beamed together. But you notice this not beamed together, so this is wrong. Okay, how about this one? So this is 3 quiver beads, so this is correct. However, for these 3 quiver beads, they should be beamed together, so this portion is wrong. Okay. Moving on to section 1.5 of the rhythm section. So in section 1.5, you're asked to put a tick or cross in each box to show whether the rest are correct or incorrect. So let's take a look at 4-2 time. So in 4-2 time, what we will do is we will group the notes minimum beats by minimum beats, right? Okay. So 4-2 time, you can group them minimum beats by minimum beats. Okay. And also, okay, so let me write out 4-2 times. So you can group them minimum beats by minimum beats. Or you can group them first 4 minimum beats by so you can group them semiquaver beats by semiquaver beats. Okay, so both are correct. Okay, so let's take a look at this. This is here. So this one is the first minimum beat. This is the second minimum beat. For third and fourth minimum beat, if they are all rest, you can group them together. So this is wrong. You can just put them into a semi-brief rest. All right. Next, let's look at this. This is the first minimum beat. Okay, yes. This is the second minimum beat. Yes, so this is correct. Okay, you might be wondering, why is it that for this, right, the third and fourth minimum beat, we can group them together. So this one, you must group together. But for this one, right, the first and second minimum beats, you can group them together, right, but we don't. Okay, so remember this. So once you have some notes inside, right, the minimum beat, okay, you cannot combine, don't combine the rests together already. So as long as in this first semiquaver beats, right, you have some notes, then the rest must be grouped minimum beat by minimum beat. It is only when you have all of them being rest, then you can group them together. Okay? Now, let's move on to the last one. So this is a semi-brief, right? Then this one is the third minimum beat. So this group of notes will form the first 2 minimum beats. This will be the third minimum beats, and this is the fourth minimum beats. So when you have both of them being rest, it should be just a minimum rest. Okay, it shouldn't be split into 2 crotchets. So this is wrong. All right. Okay. Okay. Now let's move on to section 2, which is the section on pitch. So you're asked to tick the box to select the name of each note. Okay, so when you have this, this is a double flat. Okay, and this is the note A, so this is A double flat. Okay, this symbol is for double sharp. Okay, so it is either D or B double sharp. So this note in bass clef is D, so it's D double sharp. Okay, then this one is a flat, so all of them are flat, so you cannot eliminate any. So let's count. This is the note C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. So this is B flat. Okay, then next, this is treble clef. Okay, so for my students in music theory, I always ask them to remember a few reference notes. Okay, and they are middle C. Okay, 1 octave higher, this is also C. And another C that is 2 octaves higher than middle C, which is here. So once you know that this is C, it's easier to count, right? You don't need to count from middle C. This is C, this is D. So this is C, this is D, this is E, and this is F. So this note here is F sharp. All right. Now, let's take a look at this. So they are asked to rewrite these notes in the given clef, keeping the pitch the same. So to do such a question, let's use C, middle C as a reference. So this is C, D, E, F, G. So this is G sharp. So it's the G sharp right above middle C. So it is this here. Okay, now let's take a look at B. So for this note, this is bass clef. So let's use middle C in bass clef as a reference. So this is C, then this is D, this is E, and this is F, right? So this is middle C, then D, E, F. So this is the note that we are looking at, F. All right. Okay, so we are done with section 2.2. So next, let's move on to the next section. So in question 2.3, you're asked to compare bars A, B, and C and then circle true and false for each of the two statements. So for this type of questions, I will recommend using your middle C's and the different C's as a reference. And to make it easier, right, call the middle C C4. Okay? Then one octave higher, it becomes C5. One octave lower, it becomes C3. And then you compare it this way. It is much easier. So this is my middle C and this is my high C. Okay, and don't confuse yourself, just use the first note, okay? So I know that in A, the first note is between C4, which is my middle C, and C5. Okay, so I will put this as A. Next, this is B. So autoclave, this is middle C, and this is your C4. Sorry, this is your C5. This is C4. Okay, so you know that B is in between C4 and C5 as well. Next, let's look at this part C. So this is middle C. This is one octave lower. So this is your C4. This one is your C3. And this one is your C2. So you notice that this note here is in between C2 and C3. So this is bar C. Okay, so now let's take a look at these two statements. A and B are at the same pitch. Yes, they are both between C4 and C5. C is one octave lower than A. So this is one octave, two octaves. So no, it is not true because it is 2 octaves lower than A. All right? Okay, next, question 2.4 is a question on enharmonic equivalent. Okay, so let's draw out the piano. It might be easier to determine the enharmonic equivalence of notes. So now this is A and I have A double flat, right? So A double flat, so this is A. So if you have a flat, you move one semitone to the left. If you have a double flat, you move 2 semitones to the left. 1, 2. So this is A double flat. Okay? So A double flat is essentially G. Now let's look at this note here. This is F. So it is F double sharp. So if it's double sharp, so if it's a sharp, you move 1 semitone to the right. If it is double sharp, you move 2 semitones to the right. So this is F. Okay? This is F sharp and this is F double sharp. And you notice they are at the same place. It is G. So A double flat and G are the same. Okay? So both of them. So F double sharp is also G. So both of them are enharmonic equivalents. The rest, G sharp and F, they are not enharmonic equivalent to A double flat. Okay? So they are out. All right. Okay, let me redraw the piano and let's do B together. Because I'm dealing with C, I will draw it this way, okay? So I have C sharp, which is this note here, right? This is C sharp. Now, let's take a look at this. This is D flat. D flat, oh, it is the same. Okay, because whenever you have a flat, you move 1 semitone to the left. Okay, you have 2 flats, double flats, you move 2 semitones to the left. So this C sharp is the same as D flat here. Okay, it's not D double flat. D double flat is C. So the enharmonic equivalent of C sharp is D flat. Next, let's move on to section 3, which is keys and scales. Okay, so let's take a look at keys and scales. So the first one, okay, you are asked to tick one box to show the correctly written key signature of C sharp minor. So usually at the start of your exams, right, I recommend students to write out the key signature chart, okay, as well as draw a few pianos for rough working. Okay, so your key signature chart should come in useful now because it's easy to see, oh, what is the key signature for C sharp minor once you have the key signature chart. Okay, but what you need to know is C sharp minor has the same key signature as E major, which is F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and D sharp. Okay? So now I have F sharp, C sharp, D, G sharp, and D sharp. So this has only 3 is out. This is F, G, F, C, G, D. This is correct. This one is F sharp. This one is C sharp. This is G and this is D, but this G shouldn't be here. It should be above. Okay, so this is wrong. Okay, so you need the F, C, G, and D to be at a particular location in order to be a correct key signature. So for a key signature, right, it's very specific. It must be that particular F, that particular C, and so on for the key signature. All right. Okay, next. So this is also wrong because it's F, C, G, D, not B. So it's wrong. So this is the correct answer. Okay, next. Tick one box to show the correctly written key signature of D flat major. So for D flat major, just remember for flat major, right, you just have one flat more than this note here. Okay, so it's B, E, A, D, G. Okay, B flat, E flat, D, A flat, D flat, and G flat for the key signature of D flat major. Okay, so basically you have 2, 4, 5, 5 flats. So those that do not have 5 flats are out. 2, 4, 5, 2, 4, 5, 2, 4. Okay, so now that we know that they have 5 flats, okay, let's check. B, E, A, D, G. This one is correct. B, E, A, D, this is a F, wrong. B, E, A, D, G, this is wrong. This G must be here. You'll notice that, right, for the flats, right, they follow a certain pattern. So the first flat is lower, the second flat is higher, third is lower, fourth is higher, fifth is lower, sixth is higher. Okay, so in grade 5 you will learn up to 6 flats. So the flats should all follow this pattern, okay, for 6 flats. So it's down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, so down, up, down, up, up. No, this is wrong. Okay, so you can also remember the pattern. So once you look at it, the pattern is wrong, it's wrong. Okay, then you need to check the notes also. Okay. Okay, so we are done with 3.2. Let's move on to 3.3. So in 3.3, you're asked to circle the correct key of each of the 3 melodies. Okay, so to do such a question, right, first write out what are the sharps that it has. So this one is C sharp, this one is G sharp, this one is C sharp. So, but you know that you should have F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp, right? There's no F. So let's check, is there any F note here? No, there isn't. So maybe there's an F sharp, but they didn't write in the sharp, right? So next, we know that if you have F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp, what key it is? What key is it? So it is likely to be A major, right? Or F sharp minor. But because there's no F sharp minor, we can just say that it is A major. Okay? Moving on to the next one. Oh, I have a flat and I have sharp. I'm very sure it's a minor already. Because, okay, why? Because for minor, then you need to sharpen the 7th note if it's a harmonic minor, or sharpen the 6th and 7th note when for ascending for melodic minors, right? Okay, but for majors, you will have either all flats or only all sharps. You won't have flat and sharp. So all the major out already. So you only have G minor and D minor. Okay. So let's take a look at, so we know that D minor has B flat and G minor has B flat and E flat. Next, we know that the 7th note of D minor is C sharp. The 7th note of G minor is F sharp. Okay? So let's take a look at this. So I need B flat and E flat as well as F sharp. So I have B flat, I have F sharp. No E flat. Why no E flat? Let me check. Is there any E here? D, B flat, C, A, G, F sharp, G, A. So there's no E flat. So maybe there's an E flat, but because the note is never used, so I don't see any E flat. Okay. Next, I have F sharp. Oh, I have F sharp. Great. So very likely it is G minor. Let's check D minor. So I have B flat. Do I have C sharp? Let me look. Oh, here is a C, but there is no sharp. But F sharp won't appear in D minor. So it's out. So the answer would be G minor. Okay. Let's look at 3.3c and to determine the key of this melody. So let's first write out. So this is A flat, this is E flat, and this is D flat. So if you have A flat, E flat, D flat, you will think of it as B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, right? Okay. Then you'll know that for this, it's either A flat major or F minor. Okay. So if it's F minor, what is the 7th note? E, right? So you should have E natural. Okay. If it is a harmonic, if it's melodic, when it's ascending, you have E natural and D natural. Okay. And when it is descending, you have E flat and D flat. Okay. So now let's take a look at it. There is no B flat. So let's check, is there any B note here? F, A flat, G, F, E, F, E flat, D, C flat, C. Oh, so there is no B. So maybe there's a B flat, right? But because the B wasn't used, so you don't see the B flat. Okay, so we can say that, okay, very likely is B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat as the key signature. Okay, so is it A flat major or is it F minor? So you know that F minor, you have E natural, right? So let's take a look at the E. So I have this E here. This one has no flat. This one has a flat. Okay, so very likely this is melodic. This could be part melodic and part part melodic, ascending and descending, and so on. Okay, that's why sometimes you have a natural. Okay, so it is more likely to be F minor because of this E natural here, or this E without a flat here. Because if it's A flat major, this should be a flat all the time. Okay, only minor then you can have natural. You can sharpen the seventh note. That means a flat becomes a natural. Okay. Okay, so this is the answer for 3.3C. Okay, let's move on. So next is a chromatic scale. So they say chromatic scale beginning on G. So let's check, does it start and end with G? Yes. Okay. Next, we need to check that it goes through all the notes. Okay. And each note is not used more than twice. So this is G, then this is A, then B, then C, then D, E, F, then G. Okay. All the notes are being used. So next, we need to check whether the next note is one semitone higher than the previous note. So to do so, I'll draw out a piano of 2 octaves. Okay, so now this is G, this is A flat, A, B flat, B, C, C sharp, D, E flat, E, F, F sharp, and G. Okay, so let's look at G. Here's G, then A flat is here. Good. A natural, B flat, B, C, C sharp, D, E flat, E, F, F sharp, G. Okay, yes. So each note is one semitone higher than the previous note. So the answer, this is a correctly returned chromatic scale beginning on G. It is true. Okay. Next, let's look at B. So before I do B, I'll erase this piano because I need one again. So for your exams, right, it's very likely you'll need to draw a lot of piano. But if you can visualize the piano in your mind, feel free to do that. Okay, now B. This is the correctly written chromatic scale beginning on B. So first check start and end with B, correct? Let's check, does it cover each note at least once and not more than 2 times? So B, 2 A's, 2 G's, 1 F, E, D, C, B. Okay, can? So, okay, each note is used at least once and not more than 2 times. Okay, now let's draw the piano. Okay, so this is B, this is A sharp, this is A natural, this is G sharp, this is G, this is F sharp, this is E sharp, this is E, this is D sharp, this is D, this is C sharp, this is C, and B. Okay, so now let's check. I start off with B. Then A sharp is here. A, G sharp, G, F sharp. E sharp is here. Okay, so when you put a sharp, it is one semitone to the right. So this is E sharp, then this is E, D sharp, then D, C sharp, then C, then B. So it's correct. Okay, each note is one semitone lower than the previous note. So this is a correctly written chromatic scale beginning on B. Okay, next 3.5, you are asked to tick one box for X and one box for Y to show which notes are needed to complete the scale of F sharp minor and it is harmonic. So for harmonic, you sharpen 7th note, okay, for both ascending and descending. So for F sharp minor, it has F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp as the key signature. So this is descending, so it's F, E, D, C, B, A, G, F, and you have F sharp, you have C sharp, this is G, sorry, and you have G sharp here. Okay, next you need to sharpen the 7th note, which is E, so you should have E sharp. Okay, so this should be F sharp, E sharp, D, C sharp, B, then A, G sharp, F sharp. So this is A and this is G sharp. So X is A, Y is G sharp. Okay? Okay, done. All right, let's move on to section 3.6. So let's take a look at A. So A, you are asked to find which of the following is the correctly written scale of F melodic minor ascending. So if you have a melodic minor and it is ascending, you will need to sharpen the 6th and the 7th note. Okay. So the 6th note is so let's write it out. So it's F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. So I have not put in the accidentals yet. All right. So next, okay, to do this question, right, I know that this is F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, then F melodic minor. So let's first look at the key signature of F minor. So it has B flat, E flat, A flat, and D flat, right? So let's put in the flats for B flat, E flat, A flat, and D flat. Okay, next, this is the first, second, third, fourth, fifth. This is the 6th and the 7th note. So based on the key signature, they should be D flat and E flat. But we need to sharpen both of them, okay, for a melodic minor scale. So to sharpen them, instead of having a flat, you sharpen a flat, it becomes natural. Same thing for E flat, it becomes E natural. So these are the notes of the F melodic minor: F, G, A flat, B flat, C, D, E, F. So let's check. So I'll first check by making sure that they both start off with F and end off with F. So this is F, 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 this is F. Okay. Next, I need to check G. Okay, all are G. Then A flat, yes. B flat, yes. C, yes. Then D, wrong. Then E, okay. So this is the correct one. The first option is the correct one because you need both D and E to have no flat or to be natural in order for it to be a melodic minor or ascending. Okay. Next, let's move on to this B major descending. So major key, don't need sharpens, okay, anything. So basically, based on the key signature, B major has F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, and A sharp. Okay, so now 5 sharps, right? Okay, so I know this is out because it is all sharp. Okay, shouldn't be flat. Okay, then I check both have 5 sharps, right? So I need to check. So now let's first check whether they start and end with B. So this is C, this is D, E, F, G, A. This is A note, it is not B. So this is wrong. Let's check whether this is C, this is B, C, D, E, F, G, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Yes, this is B. Okay, this is B, A sharp, G sharp, F sharp, E, D sharp, C sharp, and B. So you have F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp. So this is the correct answer. Okay, next, let's look at this. Look at this scale. Then you need to circle true and false for each of the 4 statements about this scale. Okay, so let's look at this. This is G sharp. Okay, and this is G sharp. So it starts and ends with G sharp. Okay, so, and I see a double sharp. Once I see a double sharp, right, or I see flats with sharps, right, in a scale, very likely it is minor already. And because it starts and ends with G sharp, right, so I know that this is G sharp minor. Okay, so G sharp minor, what key signature does it have? It has F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, and A sharp as the key signature. Okay, so I know that this is ascending. Okay, I'm ascending, and it is a minor key. So it can be harmonic, it can be melodic. So let's first look at what the question asks. This is the correctly written scale of G sharp melodic minor ascending. So let's first, so we know that this one melodic, we need to do something to the 6th and the 7th note. We need to sharpen them, right? So if this one is G sharp minor, then the 6th note is E and the 7th note is F. So for E, because there is no sharp here from the key signature, you need to sharpen it. And for F, because there's a sharp here, it becomes a double sharp. Okay, but you notice this sixth note doesn't have a sharp, so it is not a melodic minor. So it is false. All right. Next, you need to check whether the largest interval between two notes is a major second. Okay, let's check. All these notes here, are they a major second apart? Okay, so for this, right, because we are dealing with just a second, okay, hold on. Because we are dealing with just a second, I would use the interval chart, right, to determine the type of intervals. Okay, so to find intervals, there are two ways. Okay, so which I covered in my course, link in description below. So there are two ways to find the type of interval, whether it's major, minor, augmented, diminished, perfect, and so on. Okay, one of it is by using the major key as a reference. The second method is by using the semitone chart. Okay, so if it is a second, okay, if it is a major second, okay, then you will have two semitones apart. Okay, if it is minor, it will be one semitone apart. Okay, if it's augmented, it will be three semitones. I'll use S dot T as semitones. So for augmented, it will be three semitones apart. All right. So now let's take a look at this. So let me draw out a piano. It might be easier for this question. Okay, so now let's look at G sharp and A sharp. This is G sharp and this is A sharp. So 1, 2, two semitones apart. Okay, so this one is two semitones. A sharp to B, so this is A sharp to B is one semitone. B to C sharp, two semitones. C sharp to D sharp, 1, 2, two semitones again. D sharp to E, one semitone. E to F double sharp, this is E, this is F, this is F sharp, this is F double sharp. So 1, 2, 3, three semitones. Then F double sharp, which is here, to G sharp is one semitone. So you notice that the largest interval is three semitones apart, and three semitones is augmented. Augmented is bigger than major because it is three semitones apart. Okay, so the largest interval between two notes next to each other is major second. No, it is not true. It is augmented second. So the answer is false. Next, there are three pairs of semitones in this scale. So three semitones, that means you need one semitone, right? So three of them that are one semitone apart. So one semitone here, one semitone here, one semitone here. So it's true. So there are three pairs of notes that are one semitone apart. Okay. Next, let's take a look at this. So the median is B. So G sharp, A sharp, B. So B is the third. Median means third note, right? So this is 1, 2, 3. So the median note here is B. So it is true. Okay, let's move on to section 4, which is on intervals. So in intervals, you can find the intervals using two methods. Okay, one of it is using the semitone chart, okay, which I have covered here. Okay, I cover in greater detail in my course, link in description below. So if you are interested, do check out my course. Okay, another method is to use the major key as a reference. So now coming back to here, you are asked to write the notes to form the name interval. Your note should be higher than the given note. Okay, so for A, right, I will use the reference key, major key as a reference to do it, and I'll also use the semitone chart. Okay, then for the rest, I will simply be using the major key as a reference. Okay, so you select which method you like. Okay, which method suits you better. So personally I prefer the major key method because you don't need to count so much. Okay, but it's perfectly fine which method you like. Okay, so now major third. So let's do it by the semitone chart. So if you have a major and it is a third, okay, now we have a minor, we have major, we have diminished. I'll write dim here as diminished. Okay. then you have augmented. So for third, it is, you can have 4 options, right? You can have diminished, minor, major, and augmented. So for major, it is 4 semitones. Augmented is 5 semitones. Then minor is 1 semitone less. And diminished is even 1 semitone lesser than minor. So it's 2 semitones apart. So let's look at this. Okay, so to do this question, right, the first thing you need to do is to ignore the flat and sharp. Just look at what is a third from F. So a third from F is 1, G is 2, A is third. So A is third. So now, you need to find out, in order to be a major third, is it a sharp, is it a flat, or is it nothing, or is it double sharp, and so on. So let's look at here. I start off with F sharp, and I need how many semitones to make a major? 4. So F sharp 1 to here is 1 semitone, 2 semitone, 3 semitone, 4 semitone. So this note here, in terms of A, is A sharp. So it should be A sharp here. Okay, so this is how you do this question using the semitone chart. Okay, then I'll show you another method. Okay, which is using the key, major key as a reference. So let's look at F major. So F major has A. Okay, so now I move it to F sharp. Okay, so I move closer by 1 interval. So F to A is major. So in order to be major when it's F sharp, you must, if it moves 1 step closer, here must move 1 step back. Okay, so it is here. So you know that it is A sharp, okay, in order to have a major third. Okay, so this is how you do it by the 2 methods, either using the semitone chart or by using a major key as a reference. Okay, I cover both methods in my course, link in description below. Okay, now let's move on to B. So in B, you are asked to find the named interval. So this is B flat. Okay, so fifth. So before we add any sharp and flat, right, first find what is the fifth. So B is 1, C is 2, D is 3, E is 4, F is 5. So F. So B flat major only have B flat and E flat. So F is just F. So don't need to put anything to get a perfect fit. Okay, next E. So E, the fourth from E is A. E is 1, F is 2, G is 3. So A is 4th. Okay, now E to A is a 4th. So now I want diminish, right? So I know E major has A, right? E major has A. So E to A is perfect 4th. Now I want diminish, so they must be closer. I cannot change E, so I must change A. So how do I make A a semitone closer to E? Well, I'll just put it here, which is A flat. So there will be A flat. All right. Okay, next let's move on to the next one. So for D, I have a -6, right? So -6. So first find what is a 6 from B. B is 1, C is 2, D is 3, F is 4. B is 1, C is 2, D is 3, E is 4, F is 5, and G is 6. So I'll go on to G. Okay, so here, okay, wait, let me erase the piano so that I have more, it's easier for you to visualize it. Okay, now looking at this, so I have B flat. So let me draw maybe 2 octaves. Okay, so I have B flat, which is here. So B flat major is only has B flat and E flat. So G will basically be just G to be major 6. Okay, but now I do not want major 6. I want -6. So I need to be 1 semitone closer. So I will be here. So this note here is G flat. Okay, so the answer for D is G flat. Next, F sharp. So let's first count 7 from F sharp. So F, G, A, B, C, D, E. So I need to go to E in order to be a 7. Next, let me use a dot for this. So F major only has B flat. So E will be just E to be a major 2nd. So now I have F sharp. So I want to retain this space between these two notes, right? So if I move one step, one semitone closer from F, I must move one semitone away from E so that I remain at major sevenths. So it should be E sharp, okay? Because this is E sharp. Last one, I need augmented fourth. So let's first count a fourth. So F, G, A, B. So F to B, okay, is a fourth. Okay, so now, let me draw. So this is F, and okay, so now let's look at F major. So F major has B flat. So F to B flat is perfect fourth. So I want augmented, that means I need to make these two notes further apart by one semitone. I cannot move F, so I need to move B. So I'll move it here so that they are one semitone further. So this is basically just B. So F to B is augmented fourth. Okay? Next, let's move on to 4.2. So in 4.2, you're asked to circle the type of each interval. Okay, so to do so, what you need to do is to first, okay, so like what I say, to find the interval, you can either use the semitone chart or you can use the major key as a reference. Okay, so you can use both in fact. So personally, I prefer to use the semitone chart when the notes are very close, like a second apart. Okay, because there's less careless mistakes involved in counting. Okay, so now coming back to this, we know that in order to find the type of interval, you must first determine what is the number between them, right? So is it a second, is it a third, is it a fourth or a fifth, and so on. Okay, reason is because, right, if it is fourth or fifth or eighth, okay, you will not have major and minor. It's basically perfect, diminished, or augmented. But if it is six, if it's anything other than 4, 5, and 8, then it will be major, minor, diminished, augmented. Okay? So now let's look at this F to G. So G is the next note, right? So it's just a second apart. So in other words, definitely not perfect because only 4, 5, and 8 you can have perfect. Okay, next, because these notes are very close up together, right? Actually, the easier method is by using the semitone chart. Okay, so for semitone chart, you have to memorize, all right? Okay, so for second, you have major, minor, and diminish. Okay, no and augmented, no diminish because it will be 0 semitones apart. Okay, so for major is 2 semitones apart, minor is 1 semitone, and augmented is 3 semitones apart. Okay, so now I have F here and G flat, which is here, right? G flat is here. So in other words, they are just 1 semitone apart, so it is minor. Okay, so 4.2 answer for A is minor. Now let's go to A flat to E. So for this, I would like to use the major key as a reference. So before I do that, let's count what is the numbers between them, the interval in terms of numbers only. So it's A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, E is 5. So it's a fifth. So in other words, major and minor are out. It's either perfect, diminished, or augmented. So now let's look at A flat. So in A flat major, okay, it has B flat, E flat, A flat, and D flat. So E should be a flat for A flat major. So A flat to E flat is a perfect fifth. But now I do not have E flat, I have E instead, which is here. So what happens? I move 1 semitone further away from the major, right? So when you move 1 semitone further away, it becomes augmented. All right, so the answer for B is augmented. Okay, next, D flat to D flat. So 1 octave apart, right? And they are the same note, perfect, eighth. Okay, now let's take a look at part D. So in part D, we have B flat to D flat. All right, so let me draw. So there are two ways to do, right? You can either use the semitone table. Okay, so for a third, a major is a 4th semitone apart, so augmented is 5 semitone, okay, minor is 3 semitone, and diminished is 2 semitones. Okay, so now I'm going to draw B flat to D flat. So this is B flat and this is D flat. So how many semitones are there apart? 1, 2, 3. So 3 semitones apart, it is minor. Okay, And this is a third, right? Okay, B flat to D flat is a third. Okay, so this is one way of doing it. I can also do it by another way, that is using the major key as a reference. Okay, you'll get the same answer. So for major key, I start off with B flat. The lower note is B flat, so I use B flat. So in B flat major, it only has B flat and E flat, so D will just be D. So B flat to D will be a major third. But now I am at D flat, which is a semitone closer to B flat. So in other words, if I move one semitone closer, then from major it becomes minor. So it will be a minor third. Okay, next. Section 5 is on triads and chords. Okay, so now let's look at this. Okay, so circle 3 and 4 for each of the 4 statements. This is the subdominant triad of F sharp minor. Once you look at this pattern, it is not. It is definitely not, because you always stack it this way, right? Okay, one it's just alternate notes. Okay, but what we can do is, I know F sharp minor has F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp as the key signature. Okay, and the subdominant F, G, A, B, so it's B, D, and F sharp. Okay, so it should be B, D, and F sharp, not G sharp. So this is wrong. Okay, next, B flat major dominant triad. So B flat, the dominant means fifth, right? So B flat, C, D, E flat, F. So F is the dominant note. So the tonic triad is F, A, C. F, A, C. Correct. So it's true. Okay, so for B, the answer is true. Okay, next, let's look at this. This is the tonic triad of B major. So tonic means the first. So the first note is B. So the tonic triad is B, D sharp, and F sharp, because B major has F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, and A sharp. Okay, so it should be B, D sharp, and F sharp. So this is B, but there's no D sharp. Okay, so it is false. Okay, because we are missing D sharp. Next, this is the tonic triad of F minor. So if it's F minor, tonic is F, then A flat, and then C. Okay, this is D. So it is not a tonic triad. So this is false. Okay. Okay, next, you are asked to name each of the triads by writing either 1, 4, or 5 underneath. So this is C sharp minor, C, D, E, F. The lowest note is F sharp. So C, D, E, F. So it's fourth. Okay, next, D flat. Okay, this is D flat, and this, the lowest note is G flat. D, E, F, G is fourth again. So this is the fourth chord again. Okay. Next, this is E and this is B. E, F, G, A, B is the fifth. So it's 5. Okay. You don't need to check whether the sharps or the flats are correct for this question, because they didn't ask you whether the triad is correct or not, right? Okay. So just assume that it's correctly written. All the sharps, all the flats are there. Okay, they will have covered that, because they aren't asking you whether it's correct or wrong. They ask you which chord it is. So what you need to do is you look at the key given and you look at this lowest note. Okay, and then count how far is this lowest note from E. So this is B. So E, F, G, A, B is fifth. So therefore it is fifth chord. Okay, that's how you do this question. Next, let's look at 5.3. So you are asked to write either 1, 4, or 5 in each of the 3 boxes underneath the abstract to name each chord. The key is G minor. So for G minor, chord 1 is G, B, D. So I'll ignore all the sharp and flat, okay? Because the question definitely will have the correct sharp and flat. So don't stress yourself out with putting the flat and sharp for here. So for question 5.2 and 5.3, right, the sharp and flat is okay. Just pretend they will be covered by the question. But for question 5.1, right, make sure you have the sharp and the flat correct. Okay, because it's a true false question, you need to see whether the chord is correctly written or not. So the sharp and flat matters. For question 5.2 and 5.3, the sharp and flat will be covered by the question. So don't worry too much about the accidentals. Okay, now coming back to this, so the G minor chord 1 is G, B, D, but if you want to be really correct, it's G, B flat, and D. Okay, chord 4 is C, E flat, and G. Chord 5 is D, F sharp, and A. Okay, because 7th note F sharp. Okay, so now let's look at this. This is C, G, E, C, C, G, E, C, C, G, E, C. Okay, this is E flat. So this is chord 4. Next, this is G, D, B. G, D, B flat. Okay, this is B flat here. So it's chord 1. Okay, then this one is D, F sharp, D, A. D, F sharp, D, A. So this is chord 5. Okay. Next, let's move on to section 6, which is on terms, signs, and instruments. So for the grade 4 compared to grade 3, you have these instruments as well as the signs, the ornaments that is being introduced into the syllabus. Okay. So now let's take a look at this. So for the terms, basically just memorize. Okay. So for giocoso, it simply means playful and merry. Tempo rubato means with some freedom of time. Amable means pleasant. It comes from the English word amiable. Okay. 6.2, circle one term that has a similar meaning to allegro. Allegro means quick, right? Okay. So which one also means quick? Presto. Okay. Allegretto is fairly quick. Andante is at a moderate pace. Okay. Adattino is fast, but not as fast as andante. So the answer is presto. Next, let's look at this. What is this? This is an upper turn. Okay, this is a turn sign. Okay, and when you write it this way, top then bottom is an upper turn. If you write bottom then top, this is lower turn. Okay. Okay, next. Circle true and false for each of the following 5 statements. The cello is the lowest sounding string instrument. It is false. The double bass is even lower than the cello. Arco means to play near the bridge. No, arco means to use the bow. Okay, tuba can be played with consort. So consort means with moods, which is true. Okay, most of your brass instruments can be played with consort. Okay, your strings instruments can also be played with consort. Okay, so for the brass instruments, right, to play consort or to play with mutes, they actually put a mute inside the instruments so that you have maybe a muted sound. Okay, but for the strings instruments, they actually put a piece at the bridge. Okay, to hold the strings. Okay, to play consort. Simple play sounds of indefinite pitch. True. So it's dang 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 dang. You don't have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and so on. So it is true. A bassoon is a brass instrument. False. It is a woodwind instrument. Next section is on music in context, where you're given a piece of melody which is usually around 8 bars long, and then you're asked questions about it. Okay, so let's look at 7.1. So they ask you to answer the following questions by writing numbers. So how many semiquavers is the first note of bar 1 worth? So this is a double dotted crotchet. So if you have a double dot, okay, it is itself plus half of it for the first dot plus half of this, which is a semiquaver. So this double dotted crotchet, okay, is equals to a crotchet plus a quaver plus a semiquaver. So a semiquaver, okay, so you have a semiquaver here. So this quaver here is equals to 2 semiquavers, and the crotchet here is equals to 4 semiquavers. So this dotted crotchet, double dotted crotchet, is equals to 4 plus 2 plus 1, which is 7 semiquavers. Okay? So let's look at this. In which bar is there a sign which means forced accent? Forced accented means SF. So I see an SF in bar 2. So the answer is 2. How many intervals of a perfect fourth are there in this melody? Okay, so perfect and fourth. Okay, this one is a bit tedious. So how I'll suggest, look for a fourth between 2 adjacent notes. Then check whether they are a perfect fourth. Okay, so C to B is a second, B to C is a second, C to C is the same note, C to D to second, then D to E is a second, E to D second, D to B is a third, B to C is a third, G to here to here is a second, 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 third, second, 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 fifth. Okay, so still not a fourth. Okay, never mind. Let's continue counting. All right. Next, I have here C to D is a second, D to E. Wait, I missed out this. G to C is a fourth. So here to here is a fourth. Okay, later I'll check whether it's a perfect fourth. Okay, then C to D is a second, D to E is a second, E to D second, 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 second. When it is just a note apart, it's a second. So G to C is a fourth again. Okay, C to E, third, E to F, second, third, second, third, second, third, third, second, fourth. Okay, and this is also a fourth, right? They're all just G to B, G to B, G to B, G to B, right? So one, fourth, fourth, and fourth. Okay, now how many intervals of perfect fourth are there? So G to C sharp. So G sharp major will have C sharp, right? So you can look at it as, okay, you have G sharp to C sharp. Okay. So I have G sharp here and C sharp here. Okay. So you have G sharp to C sharp. So G major has C. Okay, because G major only have F sharp. So now if I go G sharp here to C sharp here, yes. So G sharp to C sharp is a perfect fourth, correct? Okay. Next, you have this is G sharp again, and this is also C sharp. So same thing, G sharp to C sharp. G sharp is the lower note, right? So this is also a perfect fourth. C sharp to G sharp is a perfect fourth. G sharp to C sharp is also a perfect fourth. So there are 4 of them. So for the answer key, it writes as a third, but I feel that it is a fourth. Okay, so if you have any comments, leave it below. Okay. Next, let's move on to D. How many bars contain at least one quaver rest? Okay, so this bar has a quaver rest. 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 So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 5 bars with at least a quaver rest. Next, let's move on. How many times does the leading note of C sharp minor occur? So the leading note of C sharp minor is B sharp, right? Okay, because you need to sharpen the 7th note. So let's count how many times B sharp appears. So I have 1 B sharp, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it appears 4 times. So the answer is 4. Okay, next 7.2, circle true and false for each of the following 3 statements about the melody. So all the notes in this melody can be found in the scale of C sharp harmonic minor. Okay, so C sharp minor, it has F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and D sharp as the key signature, which is what we have here. Okay, and harmonic minor, you'll sharpen the 7th note, which is B sharp. So I have the key signature already. I don't see any natural around. Next, I want to check all the B to make sure that they have a B sharp. Okay, B sharp, B sharp. All the B has a B sharp. Yes. So the answer for A is true because all of them are the notes found in C sharp harmonic minor. The melody is to play calmly. So whether it's calmly or not depends on the sign here. Agitato, no, it means agitated. It doesn't mean calm, so it is false. 6 notes are marked with staccatissimo. So staccatissimo is this sign here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I only see 4. Okay, not 6. So the answer is false. Okay, so staccatissimo is very strong staccato, which is this. This one is just normal staccato, so not counted, okay? So we only count these here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 staccatissimo in this melody. Next, you're asked which of the following bars will sound the same as bar 1, tick 1 box. Okay, so now let's take a look at this. Okay, so one of them must be the correct answer, right? So let's look at this. Okay, so let me erase all my working here so that it's easier to see. Oops, what did I do? Okay, so now let me erase everything here. So let's take a look at bar 1. So in bar 1, I know that I have my F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and D sharp. And this is middle C. This is, let me call it C4. So this is C5. And this C here is C6. C6C. Okay, and there's F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and D sharp. So I'm going to play C sharp, B sharp, C sharp, then a quiver rest, then triplet C sharp, D sharp, E. Okay, that's what I'm going to play for bar 1, and it's FF, and here is going to be gradually getting louder. So now let's take a look at this. So let me make it smaller so that you can see both at the same time. So this is an octave higher. Okay, so an octave higher, same agitator, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp. Okay, for 4 time, FF, getting louder. Triplet here, let me check the rhythms, the same, yes. Okay, so if you notice here, there's a B sharp here, but here there's no B sharp. So this will not sound the same. So this is out. Okay. Next, this one has no key signature. Okay, but you notice they write out all the sharps, right? Okay, so now let's take a look. Okay, 4/4 time, yes, this is the same as 4/4 time. FF here, gradually getting louder. Let's check whether the rhythm is the same. Double dotted crotchet, semiquaver, crotchet, quiver rest, and a triplet with 3 semiquavers. Okay, same. So this is C sharp. So this is C sharp, right? I wrote the note C sharp. Yes, this is C sharp, B sharp, then C sharp, then C sharp. Okay, this will still be C sharp because you wrote a C sharp already. So within the same bar, it will be C sharp unless you put a natural sign, which you don't see. So this is C sharp. This one is also C sharp, D sharp, then E. Sounds like, this one seems correct. Okay, so next, let's look at the third option. So you have F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. So there's no D sharp. So all the D must have a sharp. So there's a D note here, right? Later they need to put a sharp, which they did. Okay. Let's look at the dynamics. FF, then gradually getting louder. Yes, correct. Next, let's check the rhythm. So double dotted crotchet, semiquaver, crotchet, quiver rest, then a triplet with 3 semiquavers. There's no triplet here, so this is wrong. So therefore, the correct answer is this. So this is the one that will sound the same as bar 1. Okay, next. Let's look at 7.4. You're asked to tick one box to show bar 2 correctly returned in notes of twice the value. Okay, so now, how do you write something the twice the value? First, look at the time signature. 4/4, if you want to make it, so remember, it is the number at the bottom that you change to make it twice or half the value. So if you want to make it twice the value, you divide this number by 2. So you should have a 4/2 time. Okay, so 4/2 time here, correct. 4/2 time here, correct. Wrong. This is 2/2 time. Okay, so this is wrong. So we have this 2 being the correct one. So now, if you want to twice the value, so a crotchet becomes a minim. Okay, a dotted crotchet becomes a dotted minim. Okay, a quaver becomes a crotchet. A semiquaver becomes a quaver. A minim becomes a semibrief, and so on. Okay, so let's take a look at what we will do. Okay, now I start off with this. So I have a dotted. Okay, so maybe let me copy it down. It might be easier for us. Okay. So this was what we had initially here, followed by this. Okay. Then here, triplets. Okay, so this is what we initially have, a 4 4 time that looks like this. So now I'm going to double its value, right? So it becomes 4 2 time. And this, let's look at this note here first. This is a dotted quaver. So a dotted quaver, okay? So if a quaver becomes a crotchet, a dotted quaver will become a dotted crotchet. So this one becomes a dotted crotchet. Semi-quaver becomes a quaver. Crotchet becomes a minim. Crotchet rest becomes a minim rest. Okay. Quavers will become crotchets. So if you have 3 quavers with a triplet sign, it will become 3 crotchets with a triplet sign. Okay. So which one has this rhythm? Let's take a look. Okay. So we'll check this two only. So this is correct. Okay, so this will be the correct one. Okay, so the answer will be this. You might be wondering, oh, this is the same as this, right? This is the same as this. Okay, but because we just want to double this, okay, we will split it into this. Okay, crotchet becomes minim. Or you can think of it as in terms of grouping. So you will group them minim beat by minim beat. This is the first minim beat. So you group them together. Second minim beat. So you don't need to split them, right? Because it's 4 2 time. Third minim beat. Okay, they are all rest. So you don't need to split them up. So you can write it as a single rest. Then the fourth minim beat. Okay. So you 4 2 time, you group them minim beat by minim beat. So this is the correct one. Alright, so we have come to the end of the grade 4 sample paper. Okay, so if you're interested to know how to do each question or the tips and tricks for how to answer each question, do check out our course, link in description below.